Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to show the Miata a little bit more love. I already got the car up on the jack stands and everything. Jesus and I were doing some other work to this yesterday. Today, we're actually going to replace the mounts on the engine. So we already got the new ones over here. These are Moss mounts, right? There's the part number in case you were curious. And these are just supposed to be a little bit stiffer than stock. I have never replaced engine mounts on a Miata before, but when I was poking around, it seems pretty straightforward. Here on the passenger side, it looks like that there's actually 4 bolts. There's one on the left there, and then up on the upper right, there's 3 bolts, and then there's obviously the subframe bolt. The passenger side seems like it's going to be pretty easy. The driver side, though, I do have a few concerns about that. Right here are 2 of the bolts, and then right here's the freaking exhaust manifold. Also, steering shaft is actually in the way right there as well. And then if we come down here at the bottom of the exhaust, there is another bolt. So there's only 3 bolts that seem to hold this in place, but again, it's actually such a tight space in there. I don't see how that comes out unless it's supposed to come out through the bottom. So I guess we're just gonna see. And then of course there's a 4th bolt right in that hole right there. We are about to get started. I already got a jack under there with a piece of wood on the oil pan just to kind of minimize the chance of breaking the oil pan. It's actually not pushing the engine up just yet. I just kind of put it in place. But in terms of tools, pretty sure I'm gonna need the breaker bar. I got a 14 mil socket and then just a regular ratcheting wrench. And I think these should do it. Right now the plan is to undo the bolt on both sides. I actually already got it done on the other side. But yeah, anyways, undo the subframe bolts on both sides. Gonna leave them in with just a few threads. Then I'll slowly start lifting up the engine. Lifting up the engine little by little. Gotta be careful because it's starting to lift up the car. I'm gonna undo those 3 bolts and I'm gonna try to see if I can finagle that thing out. I do have my hesitations if I'll be able to do it, but I figure I'd much rather do the harder side first. The space is really tight under there, so I actually apologize that I'm not like showing you guys all the work because this is actually going to be helpful to some people. I had the camera right here, but I actually need that space. I'm gonna put the camera down and then we'll pick this back up in a minute. I got good news. I did end up getting the engine mount out. It just took a lot of finagling. That's the best way to describe it. As you guys can see, that little guy was torn right there, so not much of a surprise. We'll just have to undo this little bolt right here. The new one goes in and it goes all back together. All right, that bad boy's off. Here is the new engine mount. Here is the old engine mount. As you can see, this thing's been squished quite a bit. So I do wonder if I'll have issues getting it back in. I guess the only way to find out is just by trying. If you're curious to know like how this goes back. So right here is where the stud goes through. And then right there is, I don't know the best way to describe it. There is a little hole though for this mark. Pretty easy to figure that situation out. They'll go together like this. And then again, that nut will be tightened down and it will all go back in. I do want to note that there is like another portion of this whole setup. So this is actually on the bottom, sits on the subframe. It's like a cup and you can only actually put it on one way. So fits that way. But yeah, anyways, I'm gonna take the bottom portion off and then put this in and then I'll put the bottom portion. So that will give me the space that I need. I got the engine mount in. I didn't really film me putting in those bolts. It really wasn't bad. The biggest thing was putting that stud in, just very, very loose. And then from there, it was really easy to get that bolt, that one, and that one put in. Really my issue more than anything was I was really, really angry. It's not even the Miata's fault. It's actually parts for the MR2. Things just haven't been going well. If you haven't been following along, essentially I've been trying to order fenders, just hasn't gone well. Today's the latest reiteration of that. I actually did record me unboxing the fender because I planned on using that like as B-roll footage for a different video, but yeah. Anyways, I'll just show you guys some of that. Let's see. Are you serious? What the hell? What the hell? This is not... Dude. Look at this. I paid for two. I literally... I paid for two fenders. Are you... I'm really angry right now. I paid for two fenders. I got one fender. It's damaged. It's literally damaged because of poor packaging. What the heck? Needless to say, I am pretty angry right now. And here's actually another look at that fender.
It curves, and then right there, it's actually dented down. Curves, comes down, comes back up.
And I'm beyond frustrated because I paid for clean, straight fenders. I actually paid retail on them too. So, you know, one of the big things that's mounting in me right now is that it's been multiple sellers now where I've had issues. Again, defective parts, they're not being punctual, holding to their words, or let's just say that stuff comes up because, I mean, in today's age, stuff comes up. They're just not communicating well and lying about it. So yeah, right now my plan is I'm gonna walk away from this. I will finish it today because this is very important to get done. Jesus and I are gonna, actually, we're going to do a autocross at Oregon Raceway Park. It's the weekend of April 23rd, so in about a month. We want to get the Miata ready because this is the most reliable car. The plan is to take the white MR2 or the V6 MR2, not sure which one yet, but one of the MR2s. But if that doesn't work out because, well, the cars are always breaking, the plan is to bring this. And since we actually have the parts for the white or the Miata right now, I want to get them on, get this thing like done with, make sure we can drive this around a bit and that everything's good. I mean, I'm sure it will be, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. Hey guys, it's a few hours later. I had the chance to calm down. I actually went to a local farm. They had an event where you could like feed baby lambs and play with them. Pretty good, relaxing, a lot of fun. Had some food, and yeah, the point is that gave me a chance to kind of calm down a little bit. As of right now, I did message the seller, the person I bought these fenders from, or fender, why am I saying fenders? I literally only got one fender. There's not really much update there other than essentially with the white MR2 here, I'm gonna put the old fenders on that I have. I mean, I didn't really want to. I'm embarrassed of them because again, I did a really cruddy job of rolling the fenders, but kind of is what it is. Yeah, anyways, we're gonna go on to something a little bit more positive now. And we're gonna come back to the Miata right here. The driver's side mount is already in. I did make sure to leave the bolt for the subframe a little bit loose on the bottom. Let me show you guys that. Actually, I left that a little bit loose so that when I lift the engine up, there's a little bit of play there so that the engine can actually go up and not lift the whole car. We are here on the passenger side, and I think we'll be able to get this out really quick because we have one bolt there, and then we have three bolts right there. This top bolt, it connects to the engine mount, but I believe it's connected to the starter. So yeah, just those four bolts, and then of course that subframe bolt that's in there. We should honestly have this out probably in like 5 minutes now that I have a calm state of mind and I've done the other side. Yeah, it should be really quick. The mount on the passenger side came out so much freaking easier. So here's the mount. It's obviously covered in oil. Part of that's because the valve cover and everything leaked down. It's not like ripped or anything like that. It's like old and cracking, but it's not ripped like this one is. Before we go and put the new mount back in, I do want to note one thing real quick. These bolts are actually different sizes, and there was 3 bolts on the right and then 1 on the left. So as I took them out, I kept them in the same order they would go. That way I don't mix anything up because this bolt is significantly longer than this one. So that's something to know if you're doing this too. Make sure you don't mix that order up. The engine mount is in, everything's all bolted up. I made sure to tighten down the bolt that goes to the subframe right there. I do have to put the wheels back on and then drop the car to the ground, but that's something I will do off camera. Luckily, there's not really anything else to do the Miata other than just drive it around, make sure everything still works really well. And then again, it will be ready in case we need it for that event at ORP. Hopefully not though. Again, I really want to drive this thing there. I don't really got much else for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.